guys, welcome back to the regular podcast. And here today, I just want to take a short moment of your time to talk about Matt Reeves' latest, The Batman. Now keep in mind, this is a very long movie, and this video is meant to be very short, and no spoilers, so it's not going to be very long, but you don't got to worry about spoilers. So, the first thing I want to say about The Batman is that it is really amazing. It is probably the best Batman movie to date. But I do want to say that this is not my favorite interpretation of Batman, or let me rephrase. I don't think Pattinson is the greatest Batman right now, and I'll touch on that later. But I think the best thing that this movie does, and is why I like it so much, is that this feels very real. Like Matt Reeves, he created a world where I feel like the Batman that he has could exist today in the modern world. The Riddler that he has today could exist in the modern world. Like, I love how realistic this felt. Like, this Batman is really early on in his only year two, so he's not some mythical status that other Batman other Batman media usually portrays the hero as, but in this one, he's still very early on. Like, whenever he's fighting, he still takes a couple punches, and a lot of the crimes that he tries to solve in this movie, he's honestly wrong a lot of the time, so he's not yet that world's greatest detective that we all know the Batman as. But him being a detective is actually what I like about this movie. Every other Batman movie feels like it's more leaning towards the lines of being an action blockbuster, whereas this movie, there's really not a lot of action, and the action that we do get is really awesome, and it's sprinkled throughout through the movie, and it always comes in just a perfect time where you might think, all right, we need some action. An action scene comes up, but the majority of this movie is Batman, not Bruce Wayne. The majority of the screen time with Pattinson is as Batman, and when he's on screen, it's detective work, which I love. No other Batman movie really has that great element of him being a detective. I feel like this movie really, to me, it felt like if the Arkham games, Batman Arkham games, if any of you have ever played them, were brought to the big screen. Like, it's not Batman going around fighting crime. It's Batman going around trying to solve this mystery that Riddler is leading him on. And it's always nice to see a villain that Riddler always seems like he's one step ahead of Batman and he has everything planned out. And Batman is just trying to pick up the pieces and piece it all together before more people get killed by the Riddler. It's a really interesting mystery, and it feels more like a crime thriller rather than an action blockbuster like almost every other Batman movie. Another highlight of this movie is its supporting characters. Selena Kyle, the Penguin, Carmine Falcone, Riddler, Chief Gordon, not Commissioner Gordon, I don't think he's Commissioner Chief yet, but they are all such good characters. Like, they're all well fleshed out. Like, they're the characters that we all know. Like, we all know that these characters from Batman lore. But Reeves takes these characters and changes them in subtle ways to make them feel more realistic. And there's not much I can say without getting into spoiler territory. But if you are a fan of Batman mythos in general, you will recognize a lot of these characters and a lot of the things in this universe, and you can tell, like, hey, that's familiar. But they, like I said, they feel as if Batman and this world were to exist in the modern times. This is how they would be portrayed. This movie to me feels like what the title says it is. It's the Batman. Like, I gotta say, there's not a lot of Bruce Wayne in this movie. And when there is the Bruce Wayne, it's Bruce Wayne is the disguise, and Batman is the real person. Like, the movie mainly focuses on just Batman being the detective and trying to solve the Riddler's mystery, and I feel like it just works really good. I mean, in this situation, it works well because when he is Bruce Wayne, he still kind of acts like Batman. He's still that dark and broody character and a recluse. Like, if someone saw their parents killed in front of them when they were young, this is probably how they would act. This Bruce Wayne hasn't really mastered that playboy disguise that we usually all expect from Bruce Wayne. But I do think the lack of Bruce really works well, and the focus on Batman is really good because it's been so long since a Batman solo movie, and I feel like this is probably the greatest one we could have got. Now, last thing I want to talk about before I wrap this video is Pattinson himself. I gotta say, I didn't think he would do it. I didn't think that he would be able to pull off this Batman character because, I mean, everyone knows the majority from Twilight. I know he's a good actor, and I've always heard that he's a good actor, but I've just never gotten around to seeing any films he was in. So always throughout the life cycle of this movie's marketing, I was just like, okay, I don't know if he's gonna be able to play Batman. He seems like too scrawny, whatever. But no, Pattinson is honestly top three Batman in my opinion. Now, in terms of actors, he's not my favorite actor to play Batman. Not, but that could change. This is only his first movie, but I do consider his movie to be the best Batman movie. And I feel like this is what we could have gotten if Ben Affleck was to get his solo movie. Pattinson is my second favorite Batman right now, but is my favorite kind of interpretation of Batman. This universe that Matt Reeves created is my favorite Gotham universe so far on screen, and I just can't wait to see more. If Pattinson really does get the next two movies that rumors have been saying that he will get, such as a sequel movie and a third movie, I think he really has what it takes to overtake the other Batmans and to really become the definitive Batman. But this movie, it is the best Batman movie, I gotta say. If you want to see Batman being a detective and a crime thriller rather than an action superhero blockbuster, then this is the movie that you have to see. Alright guys, I do have to wrap up the video because there's not much I can talk about without getting into spoilers. The movie only just recently came out, so we're gonna have to make that spoiler video later. But please let me down below in the comments what you liked about the Batman, if you have seen it, or if you haven't seen it, what you're expecting from the Batman, and what are your hopes and expectations for it. As always, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and be on the lookout for the spoiler review. It will be coming in the next couple of days, and I'll see you guys next time.